Good morning. My name is Michelle Scott Pierce. I'm an Extension Associate at Cornell University, and today we are going to be discussing EFNEP recruiting. It's a commitment we have to provide some additional information and supports for improving recruitment activities in the state of New York. This training is intended to support the development of relationships and considering new ways to reach out to and support the recruiting efforts within your county. There is an accompanying document called a training document that will help guide you through this process. I encourage you to print the document and have it by your side as you proceed through this training. I also encourage you to stop the training, work on the document, do other things, do this recruiting training in bits and pieces so that it gives you time to actually think about the questions that are being asked of you and work with your partners within cooperative extension, across your region, within your county, etc., to accomplish and answer those questions. Recruiting eligible participants. Think about one successful recruiting activity you have had in the last year. What has made it successful? How do you define success? Again, refer to your workbook and record your answers on page 2. Successes have been reported by staff who think creatively about reaching their intended audience. Staff have reached out to their partner agencies to ask their opinion about potential participants. The most successful programming activities have involved parents and their children learning to cook together. These programs have a very high rate of success, with most parents staying through graduation. These programs also have a very high enrollment, with 6 to 10 parents and their children in each group. Consider what successes you have had. How do you know it was successful? What advantages do you have over your competition? Jot your thoughts down and then move on. Systematic approaches. Planning process is really critical. Let's consider a systematic approach to your recruiting efforts. Unfortunately, recruiting does not happen automatically. There needs to be a thoughtful planning process to help you reach your recruiting goals. First, a needs assessment should be completed. Next, you need to develop a plan that implement what you've identified, and you need to make sure that you monitor your plan and evaluate the results. Needs assessment. This can be really formal, such as a SWOT analysis. You're looking at the strengths and weaknesses within the organization and the opportunities and threats that exist outside the organization. Or it can be much less formal, such as a thorough review of your situation using targeted questions to assess the status of your outreach and recruiting efforts. The SWOT analysis image that you see on the screen is intended to be, help you think about what helps you, what's harmful, what's within and external to the organization. A SWOT analysis is conducted to help you identify what your business is all about. Conducting a SWOT analysis is not necessary to be successful in recruiting. However, understanding the strengths of your program, the opportunities to expand the reach of your program, and identify the weaknesses and threats and ways to overcome them is important. A SWOT analysis is normally conducted for a business that is looking to maximize their market share and improve their operations. Generally, a SWOT analysis involves internal and external partners who actively engage in dialogue to assess each area of the grid. There are many benefits to conducting a full SWOT analysis: partner engagement, multiple perspectives, strategic thinking, and results in long-term goals and objectives for program development. A thorough review, on the other hand, asks you to consider a wide variety of questions that can help you think strategically about who, what, when, where, why, and how to market your program and reach your recruiting goals. Questions to consider. What do you do well? What separates EFNEP from other nutrition education programs? Again, pause this interaction and complete the questions on page 2. Possible answers. Let's look at what EFNEP does well. How would you expand upon what is shared here? We deliver a series of educational experiences. 96% of graduating participants have healthier eating habits. Education is provided in a series of learner-centered, practice-based environments. What would make someone excited about referring their participants to your program? What would make it important to them to not just like the idea, but actually take the action that would be needed to get a group of classes started in their organization? Here's something I really want you to remember and think about. SNAP-Ed may also be offered in your county. EFNEP and SNAP-Ed are complementary programs. SNAP-Ed can provide one-time classes to create awareness of nutrition topics. This program delivery strategy may be more appealing to partner agencies due to space constraints, time constraints, staff availability, etc. The challenge then is to clarify that EFNEP provides a series that supports learners' adaptation of positive behavior changes. This is supported by your EFNEP data. Use the information that's available to you. Both programs have a place. Both programs provide nutrition education. Both programs have value. Your role as an EFNEP recruiting person is to highlight how, while SNAP-Ed is available and is also a valuable nutrition education program and does meet the needs of some participants, EFNEP can take that learning to the next level. They are complementary, and it's important that you remember that, and it's important that you're able to talk about that. Decisions regarding which partner agencies to work with may involve some conversations with your local SNAP-Ed peers. Questions to consider. What is it about you, your staff, that make you unique? What is your reputation in the community you serve? Again, pause this presentation and take the time to really consider those questions and fill out the additional questions on page 3. Some possible answers. Let's look at what EFNEP does well. How would you expand upon what is shared here? What would make someone excited about referring your participants? Remember, it's not just that they like the idea, but they actually take the steps to schedule the classes, recruit the participants, encourage participants to attend, and then help you arranging that in their organization. Staff are hired from the community in which they work. That is a critical component of EFNEP. It's written in the legislation that the staff, to the extent possible, will be hired from the communities in which they will be working. Staff are provided appropriate training. All of you participated in Navigating for Success, and it built up your awareness of nutrition education as well as how to facilitate in group settings. Quality education is provided that results in positive lifestyle changes for program participants. Use your data. Talk about the changes your participants in past classes have made. It makes a difference. Assess the environment. Needs assessment looks at all of the environment. In our needs assessment, we don't necessarily need to focus on what the participant needs. Research tells us that our participants are statistically more likely to have poor health outcomes and lead less physically active lifestyles than others. But we do need to understand the environment from which we recruit participants and how best we can align the services we offer with the mission, vision, goals, and objectives of other service agencies in our communities. As such, we need to understand the environment in which our participants live, learn, work, eat, and play, and identify which agencies and/or organizations are also operating in these settings. Let's consider these questions. Where would we expect to find the target audience? Where is the target audience living, working, and spending time? Due to the administrative changes, participants are not likely to be gathered at the local Department of Social Service offices. They are probably not there anymore. This is not to say that having a good relationship with the local Department of Social Services is not a great idea, because it is. However, there are other places that might be better. Consider where the participants live. Are there apartment complexes or neighborhoods that could be reached? It is important to know about and have good working relationships with partner agencies. Sometimes those relationships need to be formed by someone other than yourself. You might need your supervisor or executive director to help facilitate the start of a relationship. Ask for help when it's needed. Turn to your workbook and pause the video and complete the questions. Possible answers to where you might find your participants. Remember, this list is not exhaustive. You need to know your agency. You need to know what's available in your county. You need to know what's going on with your participants or other participants that could be reached in your county. Local Department of Social Services, of course, we want a good relationship with them. Food pantries, soup kitchens, farmers markets, places of worship, community centers, family planning, family medical practices, walk-in clinics, housing complexes, grocery stores, laundromats, factories. Internal stakeholders. What does your board of directors or other CCE staff or other program committees recommend? What are other association programs working? Where are other association programs working? Excuse me. Where are current participants recruited? What do your participants recommend? Ask them. They'll tell you. Are current participants a good source of referrals? Have you asked them to create small groups in their community? Consider all possibilities for recruitment. Is your association positioned to help you with recruitment? You might need your supervisor or executive director to help facilitating relationships across the association. Consider other staff, board of directors, volunteers, other members of the community you know, your pastor, ministers, religious leaders. Have current participants ask your current participants about recruiting ideas. What encouraged them to come? Why did they decide to come? Who do they know that might be interested also in this education? Where might be a good source or location to hold additional efforts, additional lessons? Remember, ask for help when it's needed. External stakeholders. Who are your current participants? What is the working relationship with these partners? Who are your current partners, excuse me? What is the current relationship? Could it be better? Who are potential new partners? What potential exists for forging new relationships? It's important that you make your list as extensive as possible and revisit the list often. Review these questions to ensure that you are reaching the right partners and building new partnerships to maximize your recruiting efforts. Staff turnover is a challenging problem. Revise your contact list and phone numbers on a periodic basis. Excuse me. Pause and answer the questions within the workbook. Analyzing the information. What does this assessment tell you? Look at all of the information you have gathered. Consider all of the questions that you have been asked and all of your responses in the workbook. Consider the input from your CCE Association coworkers, agency partners, and participants. This may take some time to digest. Enlist others as necessary to help sort out what this means and what your next steps might look like. Decide. Identify your success. Can it be expanded on? What do you need to redesign? Where do you need to modify? Are there things you can cancel? It's time for you to make a decision. You have discovered your environment. You've worked on that. You've extracted the information you need. You have created a list of potential partners and locations where recruiting can occur. You have interpreted the information to make a plan, and now you need to deliver on the work and evaluate the results. Pause and consider the information on page 5 of your workbook. Goals for your recruitment plan. What do you want to accomplish? The next step is to develop your plan. The plan should address the following questions. What is your goal? Who will help you achieve the goal? What is your time frame? How will you measure your success? What data will you use? Return to your workbook on page 6. When you write your goal, make sure it's a SMART goal and objectives. SMART being specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-based. Here's an example of a SMART goal. Increase enrollment by 7 people each quarter. Is it specific? Is it measurable? Is it achievable? Is it realistic? Is it time-based? In planning your action steps, please refer to the best practices checklist for possible action steps. This document was created not by campus, but by successful recruiting staff out in the field. These are individuals who have a proven track record of achieving their enrollment goals each year and exceeding them in most cases. And they have shared their best thoughts on how to help you be successful. So here's an example of an action plan and the action steps to take. So what are you going to do? You're going to contact 5 new partners. You're going to schedule 3 meetings. Who are the contacts? Again, this list is not exhaustive, it is just examples. Catholic charities, food pantries, local Department of Social Services, WIC, etc. Who are the staff responsible? Remember, you may not be able to do it all on your own. You may have to ask for help. Your executive director may help. Your program manager may help if you have one. Your regional coordinator may help. You as the educator will be ultimately responsible to conduct these meetings and follow up, schedule. Timeline, by when will it happen? So here again, we have some goals by 5/1 and then by 6/1. So by 5/1, you will have contacted 5 new agencies, and by 6/1, you will have scheduled 3 meetings. Write your plan. Consider short, medium, and long-term steps, 7 per quarter equals 28 per year. Identify specific activities, identify staff responsibilities, and include a timeline. Complete the questions on page 7. Please pause. Remember to include feedback from your association, regional partners within your community, and others with whom you work. Example action steps. Recruiting meetings. A critical step to successful recruiting is getting out there. Make the initial contact. Start with a letter, drop by the office, send an email, but then follow up. Don't expect them to reach out to you. Conduct initial meetings. Be clear on what you want to accomplish and how what you want to accomplish helps them accomplish their goals. Know your partner agencies. Be able to talk about what their goals are, what their mission is, and how EFNEP can support them in accomplishing that goal. Introduce your program. Be able to talk about it effectively, quickly. There is a marketing portfolio that's on the FNEC website that you can download and customize to your own needs. You can pull out, you don't have to use the whole thing, you can pull out specific slides to help you remember quickly things you want to highlight with this particular agency. It's not one size fits all, but rather the ability for you to take that marketing portfolio and customize it to meet your needs. Define your objectives. Be clear on what your program goals are. Review expectation, theirs and yours. Be sure that you understand what they need. They understand what you need. And identify next action steps. Be clear. And then follow up. Don't wait to hear from them. Even if their action step is, or the decided upon action step is, I'll reach out to you. Don't wait. Thank your partner for the meeting. Recap the meeting. Review what was agreed upon. State future intentions. Be clear. Don't wait. So many times I hear folks say, I reached out to them. They were so excited. And then I never heard back from them. They're busy. You're busy. Reach out. Take that step. Now, a second example, secure partner involvement. Develop a memorandum of understanding. Examples are on the FNEC website, but it formally defines what each of you will do to ensure a successful program. It outlines that your goal is families with children. It will identify what the responsibility of your partner agency is, maybe to provide a room, maybe to provide the snacks or the food items for the demonstrations. Whatever it is that you decide on, but go ahead and use memorandums of understanding to help formalize that process. Implement the plan. Set a start date, engage staff in a kickoff event, establish check-in points on your timeline, and allow enough time for the plan to have an effect. Engage your partners. Monitor yourself, track your progress, track your enrollment. You can do that by zip code within WebNears. You can do that by your referral source. There's lots of ways that you could think about tracking. And then use that information. So if you have found yourself a good partner for referrals, give them back an impact statement at the end of your programs. Show to them exactly what changes are being made by their program participants. It doesn't have to be long. A one-page document with some participant quotes, maybe a graph that demonstrates the behavior change that the participants made. There's lots of things that you can do, but provide a loop, close that loop so that the referral agency understands that by referring and partnering with you, their participants are making changes in their life. Give yourself time. Don't wait, but at the same time, don't expect that if you start your plan on April 1st, by April 30th, you're going to have 7 new participants. That would be ideal, but it may not happen that fast. So give yourself time to make it work, but don't wait for the potential partners to reconnect with you. Be a go-getter. Follow those helpful hints, if you will, in the best practices checklist. Monitor and evaluate. Is your plan working? Unfortunately, it's not build it and they will come. It takes a lot of work. Engage with partners. Again, use the information that's available to you. Give back to your partner agencies. Check your progress. Check your progress against the goals that you've set. Check your progress against your benchmarks. Revise the plan as necessary. And always return to this question. How do you define success? Please use the questions on page 8 of your workbook to monitor and track your efforts as you're moving through. Review your status. Review your progress. Check in with partners. Check in with all good partners. Revise the plan as necessary. Share your results and work with your administrators. Adapt or revise. What changes are needed in your action plan? What could be done better? Maybe what partner needs to not be included in your list of good referral sources. Perhaps you thought you had a good understanding, you followed up, they made it clear that they understood that your target audience was families with children, and they're only referring singles, or they're only referring seniors. That might not be the best source for you. Or they schedule the event and say that there's going to be 10 to 12 people there, or 5 to 6, depending on the size of your county and agency partner. and you get there and no one comes. Review the tools that are currently available. The elevator speeches. These are intended as jumping off points. You have to use your own words, but these will help you think about what an elevator speech is and how to best market your program. The EFNEP marketing portfolio. Download it, customize it, make it your own. Use the pieces and parts of it that are helpful to you. Put it in a binder. You don't have to display it through a PowerPoint. Use the best practices checklist and use the templates for recruiting materials. Conclusion. Actively recruit everywhere at all times. Look for new agencies as you walk or drive in communities. Ask community partners, friends, family, acquaintances about new agencies, groups, services, programs in the community in which you work. Reach out to partners and participate using the internet, phone, personal face-to-face contacts, newspapers, flyers, etc. Demonstrate confidence in what you do, your belief in the product you have, and how it will improve and impact the lives of the people you reach. I strongly encourage you to complete the questions in your workbook, revisit the workbook, work through the workbook, monitor your progress, and work on developing relationship with your partner agencies. Relationships, like new friendships, take a lot of work, and unfortunately, it also takes a lot of time. I wish you the best, and please don't hesitate to send us your successes or let us know of challenges that you're facing, and we will continue to work to support you as you grow your program. Thank you very much, and good luck.